going on, everybody? Welcome back to Hitting the Apex here on this beautiful Wednesday, on this stormy Wednesday night here in Miami. I don't know how it looks in DC,
Oh,
but
the weather here is perfect, man. It was like in the 60s and 70s today. The sun was out. It
I
was it
envy
was
you right now.
it was nice. It was nice.
Oh man. Well, yeah, it's officially. What up, Tat? What's going on, man?
Look, man, we got all of our guests here. So
All of our guests. I like the way you said
yeah,
that. We're missing a few guys.
there's maybe one or two that are yeah. Evan's not here, and then Evan's here. Alex is not here, and then
Alex, Gus, and maybe one
yeah,
more.
guess.
And of course, Moni.
Oh, of course, we're missing a co-host.
Yeah, we're missing a co-host. A little under the weather.
Yeah. She's under the weather. Once again, I just want to make it clear I did not fire her. She's under the weather.
So
I don't want the accusations. I don't want the accusations.
If anything, we'll fire that guy first.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, man. So it's Aussie GP week officially, and Rainy by the U just had some Miami's best pizza. Whoa!
Oh, see now you're making me jealous the other way. So,
Evan, you better stick around and watch tonight's show. It's gonna be a doozy. Tap, I know you'll be out there. Yeah, it's rainy in the airport as well. Yep. So it's just around our hood. It's rainy. I don't live too far from the airport, so like I said, Aussie GP week. So yeah, it's probably the it's not the crappiest race, but it is week 3 of the Red Bull series. I'm sorry, the Formula One racing series here.
Yes,
but
it is.
It just kind of sucks because it's late, right? The race is at 1:00 in the morning, so
it's actually. Do you consider that late or early?
Well, you know what? Considering the way I am, I'm usually up, so I'll definitely be on. That's Saturday night.
Yeah, let me do my job here. So.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you already threatened to fire me. I should show the schedule.
Reason why we didn't do any of our shows or anything on Monday, Bish. All right,
if it's not my fault, the basketball team keeps winning, so I don't know what to tell you.
No, it kind of is your fault. It kind of is your fault. You're going, so
I'll take credit for it, but
I was on Max and A Black show last night. And they're like, "Hey, make sure Vish keeps going to all the games."
I know it's like the opposite of football because every time the football team loses, I'm there, and they're like, "Why the are you here?"
I know.
It's your fault. Man. Stop going to games, and now it's like I've become the good luck charm.
That's so awesome. But
anyway, there's the schedule that you were trying to do from memory because your co-host here wouldn't show it.
We'll talk about this first, and then we'll get into the track and the tires and all that stuff. So it looks like FP1 is at what is that? 9?
Friday. That's Friday at 9:30. Yeah,
9:30 p.m. 2100 hours is 9:30 p.m. Okay, so 9:30 p.m. Then you've got FP2 at 1:00 in the morning on Friday night, or however you want to say it, Saturday morning, and then you've got FP3 again at 9:30 at night, and then qualifying at 1:00 in the morning. I'm sorry, so it's Thursday into Friday into
Saturday. because it's back because they're almost a full day ahead. So.
Right. So my bad. So yeah, so Thursday night you'll be able to watch FP1, and then Friday night you'll be able to watch. Well, Friday into Saturday morning you'll be able to watch qualifying, and then you've got the race at 1:00 in the morning on early Sunday morning. So, whatever. I'm up at that time anyways, so I don't have a problem watching it. But kind of sucks that it's so late because it's like too late to invite people over to watch it unless you're strung out doing some illegal substances or something and you're up that that's when you start partying, which I don't do that stuff, but we used to be able to party like that. Tap knows that we used to start the night at 1:00 in the morning. You know what I'm talking about, Tap. Give me an amen in the chat there for that one. All right. But but seriously, so yeah, whatever. I mean, it's the Aussie GP though. It's a cool race, and I'm excited about it. Here's apparently it's gotten a little bit quicker. Here's the Albert Park circuit, as you can see, 2 DRS detection zones.
They've added
section 3, right? Section 2 and
there's 2 zones, but there's 2 detection lines, but there's 4 zones. So they basically most of the track. Most of the track is DRS now.
Oh wow! Oh yeah, there it is. 1, 2, 3, 4. No kidding. Yeah. Nice. Okay, nice. So what they made this track as it says here down below a little bit quicker, right? 1996 is when they ran its 58 laps. Charles Leclerc with the fastest lap at a buck 20 there, 1 minute and 20 seconds. Yeah, I mean, I think this is gonna be I like this track. I like this race. I think it's gonna be a fun one to watch. You've got a pretty crazy chicane there in corners 3 into 4. You've got 12 and 13 and 14 of that little section there as well. And actually, right at the start, you've got a nice sharp turn.
Yeah, there's a couple of usually
yeah.
the overtaking happens into turn 1 or into turn 3. And
Yep.
this double DRS zone here will help that for sure. You can set it up going through 1 and then take it in 3. In the back end, these are not great overtaking points. Maybe into turn 11, but not that great. But what you can do is essentially the reason they add the DRS there is because of the wash off the car in front. By the time you get all the way around this lap and back to the start finish line, you're so far behind you can't overtake. So this allows them to kind of keep up, and then you can make the overtakes down the straight at the start of the track. So be interesting. There are more zones, like you said. They've made it faster. They've added track. They've added DRS zones. So
by the way, Kyle, if you want to hook up with Vish, man, just holler at him. Hit him up on social media. Hit him up on Twitter. He's going to be in Houston as well.
Yeah, I'll be there. I think a lot of people are going to be there, so the Canes are going to show up.
I was going to go, and then I decided that I didn't want to give up 3 of my paychecks to go.
I mean, it is.
I'm exaggerating, but it is still a little.
It is steep. It is definitely steep. So.
Yeah, but it's gonna be fun, man. It's gonna be memorable.
Hopefully, hopefully very memorable. Look, man, really, yeah, I remember the Fiesta Bowl too. I don't enjoy the memory.
Oh man! All right.
Anyway, I don't know why I went there.
I'm in there too, man. So, but I won't be in Houston. But we'll talk about spring football in a second. I'm sorry, in a second. We'll talk about spring football in an hour. So
yeah, this is
on our show later because we're going to talk a little bit about that as well. But getting back into it, yeah.
I mean, like, man, what, right? Man, what a world! Canes Hoops has just infected everything now.
It's crazy.
What the hell's going on here? We're trying to do an F1 show. We're talking Canes Hoops. I couldn't talk Canes Hoops on our own Canes show earlier this year. You guys would get mad at me when I try to bring the basketball up.
Now everybody wants to talk about it.
Now it's on the F1 show. We're talking about it.
So for brings up something. Yeah. The start should be fun and chaotic. I hope so. I hope that the front of the grid is going to be stacked up nicely with red and blue and maybe some silver and black, and not so much of that aqua. But I think that aqua teal color is going to be up there as well. I think this is going to be a fun race to watch. Let's look at those. The tire compounds is a C2 through C4 this time around, and as you can see, the Melbourne circuit gets quicker. Yeah, we mentioned those DRS detection and the detection zones as well. So C2 to the C4. Again, this is a track with a lot of turns, right? A lot of sharp turns. You get some a couple of hairpins going into some straights. So it's going to be fun to watch. I think that it's going to be important to see how practice is, to see what kind of tire compounds they feel are the best for this race.
Yeah, one of the other things to kind of look at here, and it's kind of referenced here in my boy Mario Isola of his comments, but this is actually, even though it's in a park and it's not obvious looking at it, it's a street circuit. Right. And so the track rubbers in over the weekend, and so you'll see the times drop pretty dramatically. So that's something to keep in mind, especially in qualifying. Like, you got to hold your run to the end, because even in the last in Q3, at the beginning of that session, it's going to be a lot slower than at the end of the session.
Yeah, the track evolution in this specific track is going to be pretty crazy, like you mentioned, right?
Yeah, and I think the distinction between, because that happens with any street circuit, because they're using it for traffic, so normal cars, you don't really get that rubber in. A lot of these tracks that are only used for racing,
right,
they have like, oh, take your Ford Mustang out there driving around if you pay them, and that actually does also lay rubber down, so there's already very grippy.
Sure.
And then these street circuits aren't like that at all. So the distinction here is, while it's a street circuit, it's not a typical street circuit. It is very high speed and flowing, so you get a lot more delta on the evolution when it grips, because the normal street circuits like Monaco and stuff, like,
Right.
I mean, it's you're basically just trying not to hit the wall. You're not. In this case, it almost, after they get it set up and all, it plays almost as a regular circuit, like a purpose-built circuit, except it is actually a street circuit.
Gotcha. F1 season really starting.
Yeah. The throwback. It used to always be the opening race, and yeah, it was that it has lost that now. So,
well, I mean, F1's changing a lot, so hopefully, we'll see what happens later on. But I like this race too. I'm a fan of this one. I think it's going to be awesome. I just hate that it's at the time that it is, but whatever. Who cares? It doesn't really bother me. I watch it. Anyway.
Won't you think of the Australians and how they have to every week?
I know, right?
Actually, do they? I wonder what time. It's probably just like a primetime event there, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, of course.
Yeah, like, what's the?
I think it's like a 12-hour difference, right? 12 or 13-hour time difference.
15 hours.
15?
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
Okay, so our 8 a.m. races are like 11 p.m. there, and then actually we get never mind. Yeah, cool. Actually, their normal race time, because normally we're in like 9 or 10. That is midnight, 1 a.m. for them. So,
so they're paying this time.
Oh, and then when they put,
that would be awesome, Evan. That would be pretty cool.
I mean, what else is he going to be doing? You might as well.
He's going to be partying, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, but I mean that's why he's in F1 at this point. Oh, so then like when they do these like night races in the Middle East, and they're like, oh, we're like, great, it's at noon here, man. Those Australians are getting screwed.
Yeah, they are.
3 a.m. All right, so let them have their one timed race for them.
Fine. Weather looks like it might be a little bit rainy on Friday, huh?
Yeah, on Friday. But then
it's cool though. It doesn't look too hot, huh?
Yeah, no, it's comfortable. So we won't have like the heat. Keeping in mind again, they're Southern Hemisphere, so their seasons are reverse.
Right.
So they're coming into fall winter right now there.
Right. Although I don't think it gets too cold in Australia.
No, and it's fall for them. So
yeah. Gotcha.
But it looks like by Saturday and definitely Sunday it won't really be wet. So, but it might mess up some of the practice sessions, and also that track evolution we talked about, because it can wash the rubber off.
Right. This one's going to be interesting. We're 2 races in, Vish, and the drivers to watch. I think it's still a little bit everywhere. Who are some of the drivers and the teams that you're going to keep a close eye on this weekend?
So for me, the driver I'm watching is Ocon. He's still beating Gasly, and despite setting a record for dumb penalties in the first race. So I'm curious, because Gasly seems to be struggling a little bit more in the car, which is expected because Ocon's been with that team for a while. He's more comfortable driving that car. So I'm watching to see how much he can exploit that kind of advantage that he has, because eventually Gas is going to close that gap as he gets more comfortable. So he's one guy I'm watching. The other one, all right, actually, no, I'll do that for team. So let's see, for the other one, I'll go with, all right, she's not here, so in her honor, Checo, take that man out.
Take him down again.
Go win this race, and you know what? You'll have a nice little lead in the championship, and just be like, hey, I'm here now. This is going to be a season. He's got to do it. He's got to do it.
Can you imagine if Checo just comes out and puts on another performance like he did a couple weeks ago? How badass that would be. That would be unbelievable.
I mean, I think that the challenge here is that Max is a significantly better driver, so we're really trying to. Yeah. It's just like hoping, but yeah, man, this is the time.
Go wrong, like completely wrong for Max.
Well, I mean, this is the thing, though. It's not gonna. At some point, he does have to actually beat him.
Right.
He's a point back in the championship. It's sitting there for you, man. It's sitting there for you. So just like, I want to see him I want to see him come out there with the mentality that I'm going to win this race and I'm gonna challenge for this championship. Like, don't just sit back and take second. Like, go at him.
Another thing is, I wanted to say, look, nobody gave Max a run for his money last year. Last year, he kind of just took off. He took off. He ran with it, right? Nothing. So, and I know the year before it was a battle between him and
Hamilton, yeah.
Lewis, but Lewis Hamilton. But I don't know. I feel like now that he's the champ, I think maybe the pressure is a little bit different. Can he handle it? Can he handle it first of all, can he handle it from his own teammate, right? That's going to be the interesting thing. But not only him, but look, the truth is, if Fernando Alonso continues to drive the way he's driving, he is the ultimate, crap talker, right? So he's going to get in people's heads. He's going to screw around with you while you're practicing, while you're doing certain things. Like, he is that kind of guy, right? He's the kind of guy that's going to try to get in your head. And if he's racing well, that could really screw you up and throw you off. So you're going to have to be mentally tough and ready to now take the pressure of those guys, and potentially, God willingly, if a Ferrari starts to, well, look, listen, again, I'm happy with what's going on as far as strategically and everything else that's going on. They just had a bit of bad luck. So if they start to put it together, now you've got pressure from a couple of different people, a couple different drivers, a couple different teams, and your own guy on top of that. That's going to be interesting to see if Max can handle it all.
Yeah, he'll be fine because his car is so much faster. It's got to be Checo. It's got to be Checo.
Yeah.
He's the only one with the equipment to do it. And the question is, does he have the personal equipment to do it?
Yeah.
Right? Because again, what if? I mean, I know this is a pipe dream, but what if he just challenges Max and starts beating him in some of these races? Red Bull can't possibly be like, you know what? I know you're in first in the championship, but you're the number 2 driver, so back the hell off.
Well, stranger things happen, man.
Because I do think there's an opportunity for Ferrari to develop their car, probably more so than Aston Martin. Because again, they kind of copied Red Bull, so they're really going to develop it faster and close the gap. So at the end of the season, they're winning races. But by the time that happens, the championship's gone. The only one that can actually challenge at the front
is Checo.
It's Checo. And now, if Ferrari or Aston Martin or Mercedes wants to punt Max off the track, I'm all on board with that. That's how they can contribute to the cause here.
Mean, that's Alonso for you. He'll do some crazy crap like that. That's what I'm talking about. Like things like that. Like he might, mess with him that way. I mean, obviously, yes, he's still faster, way faster.
Okay, so you asked me the question, Fernie, teeing you up here. Who are your drivers to watch?
God damn, why you gotta do me like that, bro? Jeez. The first guy for me to watch, yeah, it's Leclerc, man. I just think that not last week, a couple weeks ago, that was tough. That was just a tough race for him all around. Obviously taking the penalty, well, it is what it is. But then getting to a point where he was not, quote unquote, being allowed to kind of catch up to Sainz and overtake him, and I think he could have. And then the strategy working out, and then boom, the safety car. I just think there was so many things, and he was frustrated. I mean, look, again, Sainz as well. I'm gonna put it this way. I'm gonna go drivers to watch. I'm just gonna say Ferrari. It's been a tough. Yes, it is. It's been a tough season for them. That's my team to watch. Obviously, it's my team, period. So I want to see them kind of, put it together and get it going. This might be a place where they can do well. So I'm hoping that reliability wise, that they're okay. Strategically, they continue to develop that and do well with their strategy. But the truth is that if with a kid like Leclerc, he hasn't won anything yet, and so he's been the the alpha driver there now for a couple years at Ferrari, and sometimes it doesn't feel that way. And so for a young driver like that, if his confidence continues to take hits, it's going to be tough for him to put it together. Does he have like you said, Vish? Does he have the equipment to kind of put it together, overcome all of that, and come back and drive brilliantly and be competitive? I think that It's going to be, you got Carlos Sainz, who, smooth operator, doesn't really, let anything phase him per se, and he's going to drive the way he drives no matter what. I think it's more important for Leclerc to get it going and start kicking some ass.
Yeah, and I think we kind of forgot because his car broke. But Leclerc was cruising to third place
It was.
in Bahrain. And actually, Fernando Alonso's finished third twice. Sainz is in fourth. He and Hamilton are tied in fourth. Actually, I can just pull this up. But they're actually, I mean, such as the domination here, everyone is justifiably saying great start for Aston Martin. Like, Sainz and Hamilton are closer to Alonso than Alonso is to Checo. Like, this is already separating.
Let me see. Hold on. I got to.
But Ferrari there's more pace in that car. They're the team that's underachieved the most from pace to points, right, because of all of the reliability issues that Leclerc has had. Again, lost all those points he would have had in Bahrain, and then had to change the engine again or whatever, they electrocuted again, and took a penalty. Basically, the same thing cost him one race and a huge grid penalty in the next race for the same issue. So,
right.
So there's definitely more pace in that car.
Can I tell you who my drivers are to watch?
Yeah, go for it.
Number one is going to be Sir Lewis. I just want to see him. Man, I don't know, man. I'm at a point now where I want to see him win a race again.
It's not going to be this weekend, man.
Dude, I know, but look, for as bad or as slow as that Mercedes has been, they're still, they're still hanging in there. And if they're scrapping everything, did they say when they were going to scrap everything and have basically a brand new car out there? Is that like 5 or 6?
Yeah, they didn't give an exact timeline, but they basically said then when they bring the upgrades, it's going to be a different car. So
they'll be my team to watch, like in race 6 or 7. Not right now, just the drivers, because the truth is, like, George Russell's a pain in the ass, man, and Lewis Hamilton is I feel like he's fighting his own team every single time he gets out there, and then for some reason George Russell thinks he's better than Lewis Hamilton. And the nonsense that he says over the radio sometimes kind of drives me crazy. So I want to see Lewis Hamilton find a way to beat the crap out of his own guy and be competitive this weekend. I'd love to see that. So I think I'm just gonna go one driver to watch, and it's Lewis Hamilton. Everybody else obviously it's important. Fernando Alonso, can he keep it up? The Ferrari drivers, I already mentioned the team there, so I'm gonna go with Lewis Hamilton on this
one. Okay. Yeah. No, I think
all the top, teams that are at the top.
Yeah, right? I do think definitely. I mean, George Russell's feeling himself a little too much.
Yeah, like I feel like Lewis needs to kind of bring him back down a little bit.
I mean, that in the last race where he basically Mercedes had it probably wouldn't have mattered because I don't think the tires would have lasted, but. They had a chance with Hamilton's pace to run down Alonso, and Russell would not move out of the way, and Hamilton ended up using his tires to try and pass him, and then they said just hold at that point because it was gone. And dude, the hell are you doing? Because you can always what happens in those situations? You let the faster car through, you see if he can overtake Alonso. If he can't, you get the place back. Like he'll let you back through,
right?
And I must have been an interesting debrief.
Well, we just got Moni's.
I saw that. That'll be for later. That'll be for later.
I'm gonna write it down.
Well, while you're doing that, you already did your team Ferrari, and I'm actually holding station with you, and I'm picking my team McLaren because they've essentially not really run any laps this year. Piastri was out early in Bahrain. Norris was doing that thing where he was pitting every 3 or 4 laps to top off the pneumatic fluid. And then in the first lap of the last race, Piastri got hit by Gasly, and the debris went and hit Norris's car. So they both had to pit on the first lap. So I'd like to see them like actually in the race. I mean, they've run a lot of laps as like 3 laps down with the damaged car or whatever, but like can they get like in the race for the first? Because Piastri actually qualified in Q3 in Saudi Arabia, and then immediately Gasly hit him, and he ended up at the back with Norris. Because again, McLaren's luck this year is the debris would come off of Piastri's car and hit Norris's car out of everything on the grid. So I'd like to see some actual laps that are
Yeah, fair enough.
yeah, that's I'm not
It's a couple of laps, right? It's
I'm
a
not
couple of
asking for anything crazy like a top 15 finish. I just want them to like, hey, they're in line with the rest of the cars, not like several
oh,
laps down. If we can do that, that'll be good.
man. God. Well, is Alvaro's at F1? They have been non-existent. Yeah, they've been
Yeah,
quiet. Bottas and Joe have been relatively quiet. I think
yeah. Honestly, I
Bottas,
mean,
Bottas had a top 10 finish a couple weeks ago, right?
yeah, I think
He was
he
amazing.
has 4 points. Yeah, I don't think Joe has any. So
Yeah, they're just not very good, and
yeah, Joe has none.
they have,
It'll be interesting to see. They obviously have the big investment coming in. So you
I
know,
think Alfa Romeo may need no more soon. So it is what it is. They are pretty non-existent, and they probably will not exist in the next few years. So
yeah, I mean it's gonna be
yeah,
Audi and
right.
and all that. Yeah, Audi Sauber. So yeah, they are kind of just persisting. I mean, I am curious, like how because there's a reason Zhao is there, and like how much money they're getting out of China, and how popular the team is there, and if that's just completely different than what we're seeing. But to Fernie's point, like no camera time, no nothing. But then again, we probably get more Haas coverage because it's the American team than other people do.
And because of what's his name, Gunther, of course.
Yeah,
But yeah, it is what it is. Um, let's get through the news real quick and go into our predictions because I think the first thing I saw there was Porsche out of F1. So finally, it didn't go through, huh? They ended up.
yeah. Well, they had indicated a an interest, and they tried to work with Red Bull. That didn't happen. And apparently, what they've been doing since then is trying to work with McLaren, and that fell through. So now they officially said they're not. They're basically not because they had actually done a whole press release and stuff like we're getting into Formula One. Remember, because they did it at the same time as Audi. It's the same parent company. It's all Volkswagen Group. So everyone's like, "What the hell? You're doing two?
Yeah.
What's going on here? Like, how are they going to compete? All of that stuff." And then not happening. So you're not going to see a port. Yeah, basically they couldn't get a deal closed. I think they probably thought Red Bull was a good opportunity there, and then it ended up not coming to fruition. So.
And then I recently saw a photo with Red Bull over at Ford.
Yeah, no, that's going to be the engine. It's branded Ford.
It's
think.
Ford. It's a Ford powertrain. I think it's Red Bull Ford powertrain. Yeah, I saw that. So, all right, whatever. What's his cancel practice thing I see here? What's
so
Domenicali's?
Yeah, he wants to cancel practice. He said that it's boring. The only people that care are the engineers.
Sure.
What are your thoughts about just having qualifying in the race?
Speak for yourself, Domenicali. Practice. I like practice because look, for the casual F1 fan that just wants to see the race or the qualifying because it's exciting. Oh, that's great. But like for us, especially for Ferrari fans, you want to see a tire degradation, how bad it's going to be. You're going to see how reliability holds up. And I know it could change from practice to the actual race itself. But you want to see that. You want to see these guys get those laps in. You want to see how, um, how they maneuver in circuits that are potentially new. Right? They may change some corners. They may change the layout of the grid periods. So I want to see that. I want to see how the car reacts to certain, to the track and how it evolves. I mean, yeah, you need to have practice sessions 100%. So I like it. I like it because it kind of gives me an idea. Look, and put it this way: in Saudi Arabia, Ferrari struggled. Right? They struggled. They were constantly 5, 6, 7, 8th place in practice, and the Red Bulls were at the top. Where did Ferrari end? 5, 5 and 6, I think, or 6 and 7, whatever it was. And that kind of gives you an idea of where you can kind of expect, crazy things happen. I get it. And, you could end up winning a race, even though you practice and your times aren't great. But it kind of gives you an idea as to what their strategy could look like, where they could potentially end up I like it. I don't want them to change anything about practice at all.
Yeah, and I think his argument is like it's good for engineers get the data, like Franny said, try
So
fine
you
tune
talk
the
about like
cars.
not showing it on TV, basically?
No, he's talking about not having it.
Oh, that's stupid. That's stupid.
Well, I think they would replace with some other like sprint race type stupidity. But
No, no.
I I think he's actually wrong because I mean the reason the sport is popular, yeah, the racing, especially when it's like close, is exciting. It's because these machines are ridiculous.
Yeah,
Like there's a V6 in that.
I know. Isn't that crazy?
That's crazy. And like there's never a time when watching cars go around like that is not exciting. Like it is insane. The other thing is, look, if you actually care about the sport and you're like, qualifying the race is stressful, it's nice to see the cars in a low stakes environment too. Have them go around, you can kind of relax, watch them go where it's not really a big, there's no stakes. You're not like on the edge of your seat. Not everything has to be like amped up to 11.
Right.
It's good to have that progression from, all right, the cars are going, but there's not really a lot of stakes. So the engineers are getting a lot of data, but you know what? If like they have a tire issue, it doesn't really matter. We can see the cars run, have a beer, chill out, whatever it is, less stressful. Then progresses to qualifying where, all right, now it's amped up, and then the race is even further amped up. It's nice to have that progression, not just have everything count all the time, right?
Exactly.
And it'd be like having I've been going to all these basketball games, right? Like not having warm-ups. Let's just tip it off. I'm like, yeah, it's good. It's good to like chill in the arena a little bit, have them warm up and stuff. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, that's ridiculous. I think plus you'd be losing out on potential money as well, I think. I mean, you keep the fans at the at the stadiums or at the.
Well, I think they would probably replace it with some other way to rip people off.
I mean, practices. If you have I don't know. I just think that it doesn't make any sense to take them out. So
yeah, if anything, I would add sessions because I think one of so there's a trade off here, right? The cost cap and the limited practice time and limited wind tunnel time is to save money.
Right.
It also means that when Red Bull is just so far in front, it's almost impossible to catch up. Like I'd love to have at least like a week of the good old days. Would spend whatever the amount of money you want. Have like multiple crews working. Like they used to have multiple full pit crews, because they would drive the car out there and like there would still be people doing the practice session or whatever, and then they'd have the other crew to rebuild the car and make all the changes like on the same weekend. It's like that was probably wasteful. Like they'd actually have a car for qualifying that they knew. This is before they had park for me. You couldn't touch it.
Right.
Like this car will only last like 4 laps. Go for it. We're gonna get pole and then just rebuild the car overnight to one that can actually last. Like you don't need to go back to that, but I think more practice time where they could develop the car further to catch up, because this 100%. Is like one of the things. Red Bull's so far ahead. Like how is anyone going to catch up?
It's gonna be tough.
Yes, we are talking about practice zone.
Practice.
And that's why AI has not won a championship. He should have practiced.
Well, I don't think at this point. I don't think he's.
I think he's going to. I don't think he's going to.
I don't know. You want to get into this Gasly stuff too, or you want to go to predictions?
Yeah, we'll do the Gasly stuff real quick, just because it could be relevant. If he gets 2 more driver's license points, he gets suspended. And that they actually changed the rules on what. I didn't actually realize this, but apparently those track violations add points to your license, and he's had a ton of them. Wow. So they changed the rules so that that's no longer the case.
Right.
But if he violates so going forward, if he does track limits, he's not going to get points. But if he does something that causes a 2-point, like causes a crash or something, he has to not do that through May, or he'll be suspended for the next race after that. So he's on edge there. So there was the reason it was controversial is they changed the way the points are awarded. Like, shouldn't we retroactively go back and like, there was a lot of momentum for it. And there's no one saying who, but someone like kind of like led the counter revolution on that. I was like, no, keep the points, and then like got enough people to vote against it so that because all the teams, like I think a majority of teams have to agree to change so they agreed to change the way the rules are applied. Yeah, so they changed the way the points are awarded. So going forward, some of the stuff he did will no longer add points to the license, but he still keeps all of his previous points that were awarded on the all system. So he's right on edge, just like 20 points. I think 22 is the suspension. So.
And then after May 22nd, it kind of resets, right?
Yeah, then well, because it's a running. I don't even know what race it was. He must have done something horrible last year to get a bunch of points at some race. Because
yeah,
because it's a year. It's just a full year, calendar year.
Gotcha.
So yeah, when he gets past that date, I think he must have done. I don't even remember what race it was, but last year there must have been a race that weekend where you got a bunch of points. So once those drop off, you'll be fine.
Oh boy. Predictions. Let's do it, Vish. What do you got?
Oh boy. Why don't you read out Moni's first?
Yeah, let's read out Moni's, which she kind of stole my surprise, but sort of. But she wants Max, Checo, and Leclerc, P1, P2, P3, and then her surprise is Stroll in the top 5. Which my surprise was going to be that Stroll finishes ahead of Alonso.
Okay.
So, but
So she didn't actually technically say that because Alonso could be 4th.
Right.
So,
which would be, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me, but yeah. So that's what it is: Max, Checo, Leclerc, and Stroll in the top 5.
Okay, and that's your prediction?
No, that's hers.
Okay, what's yours?
I'm gonna go Max, Leclerc, Checo, and P3. And then you want a surprise, right? You want a legit surprise, so I'm gonna throw in McLaren with a top 10 finish.
So is that the surprise, or is the surprise the 12 DNFs that have to happen for that to?
I mean, a little bit of both.
It is, in the grand tradition of Australian drivers with Italian names, it is Piastri's home race.
It is. What's Evan? Let me see.
Evan's got Max, Checo, Alonso, and then Williams top 8.
Williams top 8. All right. I like it. All right. What do you got, Bish?
We got Fernie.
Oh, Fernie's got his too.
Oh, Logan Sargent in the points. Look at this.
That's Checo. He's already got some points, didn't he? Didn't he finish in the top 10?
No, he finished 11th.
Oh, okay.
Oh man, Gus showed up and dropped his prediction immediately.
Yeah, he just gets here, drops his prediction, and gets the hell out. Don't high me, Gus. Don't you high me, son.
Yeah, don't high us. Give us your surprise.
You can't give us a top 3 and then not give us your surprise. Like, get it right, bro. Get it right. Okay, bye.
I mean, his dropping in out of nowhere, coming off the top rope with the prediction was a surprise. So,
surprise is Gus off the top rope. All right, well, he gives us his surprise. Let's hear.
Okay, so I was gonna pick Max, but literally everyone picked Max, so I'll go Checo.
Okay,
so I'll go Checo 1.
I like it.
And then I'll go Max 2. So not even like Max DNFs, just Checo just beats his ass.
Nice.
And then 3rd, I'll go Leclerc.
Okay.
And then surprises both Aston Martins outside the top 5. And if that's not good enough, I'll go top 10 if you feel like 5 isn't.
Whatever you want.
Well, it's kind of you know what? I'll go top 8. They're outside the top 8.
Outside top 8. Okay.
So that means that both Ferraris, both Mercedes, both Red Bulls, and 2 other cars have to finish ahead of them.
Oscar Piastri, baby.
There it is. We're all coming full circle here.
All right, cool. I like it. This one's gonna be fun. Hey, maybe should we do a late night with the Hitting the Apex crew for this one?
So the game is Saturday night. We'll see how we're feeling.
Yeah, that's true.
We could be euphoric or we could be down in the dumps. So.
Yeah, but if you're feeling euphoric.
Yeah, there's one thing happening this weekend that's going to dictate the mood of the entire weekend. It's not the Formula 1 race.
Yeah. And it's not even UM and FSU baseball.
Oh man, I didn't forget because we wrote a preview of it, but damn, FSU isn't too.
Baseball, Final Four, Formula 1.
We just won't talk about Wake Forest because that.
Ooh, I know. Vish, you're not gonna be down here for the spring game, right?
You know what? Honestly, like after I come back from Houston, like I'm not going anywhere for a long time. This has been exhausting. I was so tired on Monday coming back. I was like, I can't do this anymore. All right, one more right here.
Yeah, you can. If they do it next year, you're doing it again, all right?
I don't know if I'll ever do this again, to be honest. This team I felt like was special, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to do this. One time I'll do this. But man, this is exhausting.
I hear you.
And I haven't even had that long of a trip yet. Like Kansas City's like a 2.5 hour flight. Albany's like an hour.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if we like got
2.5 hour flight also, right?
Yeah, that's longer. It's like 3, but because we're pretty far up.
Oh, true.
It's actually it's a short flight from Miami. It's like
it's shorter. It's like 2.5.
Yeah, because we go straight. But like, could you imagine if we got like sent to Seattle or something? Man, I've had short flights and I'm exhausted from it.
No kidding. Anyways, make sure you check us out every Wednesday night for the Hitting the Apex show here on 5 Reasons Sports YouTube channel. You can check us out every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. And we'll have a special guest on next week. I won't say who it is, but hopefully we can get that person on the show. It'll be fun.
Is it our co-host?
No.
That would be a surprise at this point.
That would be. No kidding. But make sure you keep it locked here. Also now, we do have our 9 p.m. start for Six Rings Game show.
Yeah, so 12 minutes.
Talk a little more March Madness, get into spring football. We'll talk about our plans for the spring game as well. So make sure you check us out there. And we'll see you guys next Wednesday here on Hitting the Apex. Sayonara.
Yep.